What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Basically, this will be our last episode of SwiftData series, and I wanted to cover light migration by using SwiftData. And I just want to show you what we have achieved so far. And as you remember, in the previous episode, we have fixed our UI a little bit. And if you haven't watched the previous episode, please go ahead and watch. And with making not least reusable view as a first view of our application, we are able to reach this fancy view. Okay, as we remember, we could create an important task. Actually, we could save it, and then once we save it, it goes under the to-do list automatically. We could mark it as done or undone. We can delete it, and we can bulk delete or bulk mark as done. Okay, so this is what we have achieved so far, and let's dive into the coding then. So before diving into development, let's see our database structure and what kind of data has been saved. Obviously, when we see our simulator, we can see what kind of data has been saved here. Personal task, wash the car and wax it, wash the car and wax it 2 times, and set application data. Let's open the terminal and run the code, run the command xc run simulator, and it will give us an booted device by using our bundle identifier. I will include this command down below in the description of this video, and we will get the path for our folder where the actually database file has been saved. Okay, and then we just change the path, and when we open it, we will see an library, and under the library we can see application support. We will need to open this file with the DB browser application, DB browser for SQLite. You can download it, it is for free, and when we open it, actually we will be able to see our database structure. Here it is. So when we go to database structure, as you can see, we have category, we have node, one to many, all the tables that we created previously. Let's go to the nodes and say browse table, and as we can see now, we have all this free data saved. Personal task was to wash the dishes, wash the car and wax it, wash the car and wax it. Duplicated data as same as our simulator. Okay, so because since we are going to cover the migration, we will include some extra fields, and we will be able to see how our database has been changed actually. So far so good. So let's dive into coding. So now we are ready to dive into coding. Okay, and we are going to create another folder here, which is going to be named as migrations, new folder, and we are going to include the version 1 and version 2 and migration enums here. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump and create a new enum file, SwiftData series Swift file actually, which will be in an enum, version 1 schema version v1. Okay, and we need to import SwiftData, and we will need to import the foundation since we are going to use variable types. Okay, and it's gonna be enum SwiftData series version 1, and we're gonna inherit the versioned schema. So we will need to implement some compulsory variables. Okay, and this first one is going to be our models variable, and the other one is going to be version identifier, which version we want to use actually. Currently we are pointing the node model and the category model. Okay, and our version will be 100 because it is the first version of our database. We haven't changed anything currently yet. Okay, so that's why we are going to give the version as 100. So as an additional to this one, we will need to move our models under the SwiftData series schema version 1 that we recently created. Okay, this is yelling at us because we should remove the from. So extension SwiftData series version schema schema version v1. Not gonna inject anything, inherit anything here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to move the models, the node and category models under this extension. Let's move model, and we are going to cut, and we're gonna delete this one. We don't need it right now. We're gonna cut it and paste it here, and these will be an actually let's mark them as a final class as well, so that nothing can inherit them and overwrite them. Okay, and if we try to build the application, it's going to fail because currently the node model cannot be found in the scope. Okay, so what we're gonna do is that in order to be able to have them not to make too much change actually, and also not to change the implementation in the views, we are going to create type alias. Okay, let's create our type alias. Let's mark SwiftData models, and let's create type alias 1 for node, which is going to pointing node model under the recently created version 1 enum. And let's run it now, and as we can see, the compiler succeeded actually building, and let's see if our application is running smoothly without any errors. Okay, so let's run it again, and we will be able to see the application with the same data, with the same functionality running successfully. So important task, and who were the house, for example. Okay, I'm going to save. It's automatically saved under the to-do list. So far so good. And on the next step, we are going to create our version 2 extension and enum actually, to also add some extra fields to our node model. Okay, but I want to emphasize one thing here in the SwiftData series app. Now when we are creating the model container, which actually helps us to create our database structure, we are pointing the schema here actually. So the schema models are now changed. They are pointing the type alias that we recently created, and the type alias is pointing the models that has been created under the SwiftData series schema version v1. Okay, this is very important to understand, because once you create the version 2, we are going to be pointing the version 2 models. Okay, so without further ado, let's create our second versioning enum class, and adding the new extra fields to the model node model actually. So as a next step, we are going to create the version 2 schema as mentioned. Let's create a new file, name it Swift Data Series Schema version v2. Okay, and again we are going to import SwiftData and import the foundation. Here we are going to actually have the same implementation as version 1, but we are going to change the variable name. Okay, we are going to change this variable name here. Basically, when we implement actually version 2, we are going to change the date added to due date, so that we know which date actually we need to complete this specific task in the to-do list. Okay, so without further ado, let's create our version 2 schema. It's gonna be enum SwiftData series schema version 2, and it's gonna inherit actually version schema. As we know previously mentioned in version 1, we need to implement the models variable and also static var version identifier. Okay, this will actually pointing 101, because we're not gonna have a huge change, actually huge migration plan for this specific application. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is a light way of implementing the migration. Okay, so we're gonna have node.self and the category .self. These two models will be included within this schema, and basically now we're gonna have an extension as we did before, SwiftData series schema version 2, and function products produces. Okay, what is the problem here? Okay, we're gonna have an array instead of curly brackets. We're gonna have an array brackets. Okay, so let's copy the models from version 1. Since we are not gonna change anything major right now, we can copy and paste the models. And once we're done with this, actually we need to also point the version 2 models that we previously created on the as a type alias actually in our SwiftData series app file. Okay, and when we run the application right now, nothing will be changed. So okay, that's why I don't want to run the application right now and show you nothing changed. But in the meantime, if you want to see nothing change, actually you can run the application. In order to have in order to migrate actually and then complete the migration, we need a migration plan. Okay, which we are going to include in the model creation. So let's create our migration plan so that we can complete the migration. But before that, actually I want to show you what we are going to change. Okay, in the node model, we are going to name this attribute. Actually we're gonna use the attribute micro to give this in a new name. Original name is date added. Okay, so we need to do actually the original name, date added, and this will be due date. So this is a very simple change actually that we are going to implement right now. We are going to have the field name changes in the database. We are going to observe it actually once we run the application and add a new item. We will be able to see, and obviously when we apply the migration plan, we will be able to see the changes on the DB browser. Okay, application as we previously did. So we need to fix a couple of compiler errors actually. This will be due date, a new field name, and here actually I also want to add due date, which is going to be by default the current date. Actually nothing will be changed, but at the end of the day, when we need to change something, basically when we need to add a due date with our UI, in our UI, it will be ready for us to, when we create a model, it will be ready for us to pass this parameter to this model. But currently we are not going to do that because I want to keep this video short for you and show the migration, how it needs to be done actually. I know this might not be an ideal case, for example, for this video. Maybe you were expecting like adding a new field, like a new field as a string, for example, and pass it from the constructor of the model, but I have chosen changing the attribute name actually for this specific example and for this specific video, so that we can see actually in the future when we are going to apply migration that we can actually change the field name on the migration. Okay, so let's create our migration plan. Okay, so our migration plan, it's going to be actually I want to add here a new folder and name it as migration plan. Okay, and then we are going to create a new new Swift file, naming it as SwiftData series migration plan. And here we are going to import obviously Swift data. Okay, and then we're gonna have another enum SwiftData series migration plan, and we are going to inject the schema migration plan. Okay, and what we're gonna have is that we're gonna have the schemas that is created, which is version 1, version 2. We are going to have the stage variable actually to see the stages, basically migration from version 1 to version 2. Anyway, let's implement it so that we can see it visually. Schemas, we are going to actually have this as an array, Swift data series version 1 dot self, and within the array we're gonna have basically remove this and Swift data series and version 2 dot self. Okay, this is first variable that we need to implement. We need to tell the migration plan that we are going to have these schemas. Obviously when we create schema 2 version 3 actually, we are going to include it here. Okay, it's gonna be version 3 dot self. Okay, so that migration plan enum will be aware of our migration schemas. And we're gonna have static var stages. Stages are going to be a migration stage. Okay, it's gonna be migration stage, which is going to have the migrate rate. Come on, v1 to v2, and we are going to create this migrate variable actually static let migrate v1 to v2, and this will be a migration stage from lightweight. Actually, we are going to point out that it's going to be a lightweight migration from version 1 SwiftData series version 1.self to version 2 SwiftData data series version 2.self. Okay, so far so good. Our migration plan is now ready to be used actually. Okay, so we are going to pass this as a parameter to model container. When we switch to SwiftData series app file, we are going to have one more parameter actually here to say migration plan, and we are going to point the SwiftData series migration plan.self. So far so good. So it means actually here use this migration enum to apply lightweight migration. Okay, and one more time I want to remind you that actually we are going to add a new attribute name. We are going to change the date added variable name to due date actually, and this will do the trick for us. Okay, let's build. We cannot build it. Seems we have a compiler error. Okay, so since we changed the name of the variable right now, we are going to use due date. It's gonna be sorted by the due date. Okay, let's run it. Okay, and we have another issue. Okay, this is for the provision profile. Let's make it none because we are going to run it in the simulator. Let's try to build it again. SwiftData series. Okay, we did it already. Okay, we need to change it to simulator. Unfortunately, my simulator is currently downloading. Once the download is completed, I will complete this video actually. Sorry, my Xcode was updating, so I had to update the simulator as well. In this case, let's run the application, and during the run, I want to show you on my simulator we won't be able to see any input because the simulator is recently installed and run. Okay, we will see only to do and done with the empty state. Okay, and when we add an item, personal, and when we enter wash the dishes and save, as we can see, our application is operating correctly and saved. Let's run it again actually to see if it is saved. Yeah, it is saved. We can mark it as done. As previously mentioned, we can delete it and etc. At this point, I want to run the same command on the terminal actually. Okay, so when you open the terminal and run this and get the path of the current simulator. Okay, and then we see change directory, and then when you open, we go library, application support, and default store, and open with other. And when we open it with the DB browser SQLite, we will be able to see the changed field name. Instead of date added, it's due date right now. Okay, so let's go and we change it in the node, and let's go and right click and browse table, and now we can see it is changed to due date. Okay, so far so good. The lightweight migration has been completed for this application, but one more time to recap actually what we have achieved or done so far. Okay, we have a version 1. Okay, when we create a version 1 schema, we will need to add the models here that we are going to migrate. Obviously, the old models that we have created during the container creation. Okay, and the version identifier, it was our first version, and we included the nodes and node and the category model within this schema. And once we create the version 2, okay, we change the attribute name, which was originally date added. So we are indicating actually it was date added in version 1. Okay, and please from now on take it as a due date. Okay, and in our actually in our, sorry, 1 minute, node item row. Okay, we are is it no, it's not, shouldn't be node item row. Let me see, node reusable list view. What we are using, list item view. In our list item view, okay, we are passing as a node subtitle and node formatted date actually, and formatted date is pointing new recently created variable due date. I added also due date as a parameter here. If you want in the future, if you want to include a due date date picker in your UI, you will be able to do so. Okay, and after completing the migration schema enums and the files and then strategy and what etc., we need to create our SwiftData series migration plan, and we are pointing here actually it's a lightweight migration. Obviously there is another way. It's you know, if you're gonna have a major migration, you can also make a research actually. You can find many tutorials or articles on Medium how to, you know, have the major migration plan, but in this series I wanted to include only lightweight migration. Okay, and once we're done, we need to include this lightweight migration in our model container constructor, so that the SwiftData, when it's going to create the model container, will be aware of that which migration plan it has to use. Okay, so this is the final episode for SwiftData series. I'm really happy that you achieved so far. As a next step, obviously you can play with the UI, you can play with the different relationship types, one-to-one, one-to-many, which we included within this series. As an extra episode, I included UI, which UI series actually. I mean, where we changed our UI actually, make it a little bit fancy. I hope you found it useful, and if you want me to create any specific type, any specific topic, sorry, not type, any specific topic regarding to SwiftUI and regarding to iOS development, please do let me know. I will be waiting your comments down below. Okay, and I see you on the next episode then.